The Devil in the Reflection. Part 1. Never look into the dark. When I was 12, I saw my cousin die in the mirror. Not her body, no blood, no scream, no crash. Just her face, wide-eyed, twisted in panic, pressed behind the glass in the bathroom mirror of our grandmother's house. 1 second she was behind me, brushing her teeth and humming to herself. The next gone, replaced by her own reflection slamming her palms against the inside of the glass, mouthing something I couldn't hear. I ran screaming. They told me I imagined it. That she wandered off. The police found her 2 days later, curled up in a drainage pipe half a mile from the house. Eyes open. Mouth bloody. She couldn't remember what happened. She never spoke again. No one asked about the mirror. But I never forgot. We don't talk about what happened. Not in my family. Not even now. But sometimes, when I walk past the mirror at night, I see her silhouette in the corner. Watching. Still trying to speak. That was the first. Years later, I started collecting these stories. Not creepypasta, not urban legends. Real things. Events that slipped through cracks and never got reported the right way. Stories that show up in old police logs with redacted names or weird footnotes. Incidents that no one wants to admit happened, but still ripple out through towns like broken signals. I don't go looking for them anymore. They find me. This is one of them. It started in August. A woman named Gloria contacted me through a burner email. No signature. Just, I know what you saw. Something is following me, too. It comes through the mirrors. She gave me an address. A small, rotted-out house in Kansas. On the edge of a town you wouldn't find unless you meant to. I drove out 2 days later. The house was already abandoned. Door ajar. Inside, dust, mold, rot. Signs of a rushed departure. Cans on the counter. A dinner plate with dried spaghetti. A bedroom light left on. But every mirror in the house had been covered. Sheets. Towels. Paper. Even duct tape. I lifted the covering on one. It was smashed from the inside. Spiderwebbed with cracks, like something had been punching its way out. I recorded everything. Photos. Notes. I tried reaching out again. No response. That night, I checked into the only motel in town. The receptionist handed me a key without looking up. Her hands were shaking. Room 5 was clean, but cold. The mirror above the sink had been removed. All that remained were 2 screws, and a dark smear that looked like soot or blood. I set up my laptop, reviewed the pictures. Something was wrong with the photos. In every mirror shot, just barely, in the corners, there was a face. Faint, but there. Never in the same place. Never in focus. But always watching. I didn't sleep. I left the bathroom light on. Kept my back to the mirror's empty spot. Around 2:40 a.m., I heard a tap on the window. I was on the 2nd floor. Then the hum started. Not mechanical. Not natural. It vibrated deep in my chest, like a bass note played on an ancient instrument. Low, slow, alive. The reflection of the TV screen flickered. There was something in it. Not my reflection. Something standing behind me. I turned. Nothing. But in the next flicker, I saw it again. Closer. No face. Just a long, dark silhouette, neck stretched, hands twitching like it couldn't remember how they worked. I shut the laptop and unplugged the TV. The screen went black. I waited for morning. When I checked out, the receptionist finally looked at me. Her eyes were ringed with red. Bloodshot. She whispered, "Don't take pictures of it. It remembers your face." I drove 6 hours straight. Didn't stop. Didn't eat. I threw the memory card into a rest stop trash can somewhere in Missouri. When I got home, the bathroom mirror was fogged, even though I hadn't showered. In the steam, someone had written a word. "Look." I cleaned it, then smashed the mirror with the back of a chair. The hum hasn't stopped. 3 days later, I heard from someone else. Another email. Same format. No name. It took my daughter. She was combing her hair. I saw her go into it. Like water. Like glass that folded around her. I smashed it, but I think she's still inside. Please. Help me. This one came from upstate New York. Another town with no highway signs, no fast food, and only one church with blacked out windows. I don't know why I went, but I did. When I arrived, the house was empty. Inside, the mirrors were untouched, not covered, polished, shining, like someone had been cleaning them daily, or more. There were photos on the fridge. A girl. Maybe 8. In the last one, her smile was half-finished. Like she'd been caught mid-laugh, or mid-scream. I turned toward the hallway. There was a mirror at the end. Long. Old. Framed in dark wood with peeling corners. Something stood in it. Not me. A girl, facing away, hair long and dripping wet like she just stepped out of a lake. I called out. She turned. Her face was wrong. No expression. Eyes too wide, mouth too narrow, stretched like someone had tried to shape her into something she wasn't. She raised one hand, and the glass rippled. Like water. I ran. Outside, the air was colder. Not weather. Just cold. Like the heat had been stolen from the house. Or from me. I got in my car, started the engine. And in the rearview mirror, there she was. Smiling now. Mouth too wide. Teeth too many. I drove home that night with a scarf tied over the mirror. And when I got home, I covered every reflective surface. TV screens. Windows. Stainless steel. I haven't uncovered them since. But sometimes, when I forget, when I catch the edge of something reflective, I see things. Her. Or others like her. Their faces are getting clearer. Closer. More familiar. I think I know why. The stories I've collected, they're all connected. Not in plot. In pattern. It's not just about reflections. It's about invitation. Attention. The moment you see them, they see you. The moment you hear them, they remember your voice. And once they remember, they don't forget. Ever. Part 2. The House That Watches. The house was in Arkansas this time. I only found it because someone mailed me a box with no return address. Just a flash drive inside, sealed with red wax. It contained a single video file named Real_6. No metadata. No timestamp. Just static for the first 10 seconds. Then, a house. Wide shot, handheld. Blurry focus. A woman narrating softly, like she didn't want to wake someone. This is where it lives. No number. No mailbox. Just the house. My brother disappeared inside 6 days ago. I saw it take him. He looked into the mirror in the hall, and then he wasn't real anymore. There was no scream in the video. Just the sound of a heartbeat that grew louder and louder until it nearly drowned out her voice. She stepped through the front door. Inside the house, dark wood floors, long hallway, doors slightly ajar. She stopped in front of a tall mirror. Ornate frame. Silver cracks running from corner to corner, not from impact, but from pressure behind the glass. Then she turned the camera on herself. She was smiling. Only her mouth didn't move. The frame stuttered. The video glitched. Then the reflection reached forward. The feed cut to black. That was it. I traced the IP ping buried in the video's code. It led to a real place, out in the hills near Hot Springs. I didn't plan to go. I told myself I'd seen enough. That I should burn the drive and forget the name. But I didn't. I drove through the night and reached the house by morning. She was right. No number. No mailbox. Just the house. It sat alone at the end of a gravel road that didn't show up on Google Maps. The windows were dark. The front door slightly open. When I stepped inside, it was freezing. Dust covered the floor in perfect stillness. But not a single speck on the mirrors. There were 12 of them. One in each room. Some cracked. Some perfectly smooth. All facing inward, toward the heart of the house. None of them reflected properly. I saw the rooms, yes, but wrong. Too deep. Too wide. Like the mirrors opened into rooms that shouldn't exist. Sometimes I saw shapes in the corners. Sometimes I saw myself, standing somewhere else, dressed in clothes I didn't own, eyes a little too dark. I should have left then. I didn't. I felt drawn toward the mirror at the end of the main hallway, the one from the video. Tall, silver-framed, breathing slowly beneath the surface like it was asleep. I stared. My reflection stared back. Then blinked before I did. The hallway behind me changed in the glass. Grew darker. Longer. Another door appeared behind my reflection. Slowly opening. I turned. There was no door behind me. Only mirror. Only me. The moment I looked back, my reflection had stepped forward. Half a foot closer to the glass. Arms raised. Like it was reaching. I stumbled back, heart punching my ribs. I left the house without looking again. But the reflection stayed with me. I stopped at a diner in the next town. Ordered coffee. Tried to write it off. Tried to breathe. In the reflection of the window, I saw her. The woman from the video. Sitting 2 tables back. Smiling. Only when I turned, the booth was empty. I checked the mirror behind the bar. No reflection of me. Just an empty stool. When I returned to my car, the windshield had fogged from the inside. Words written in the mist. You saw her. She saw you. I drove until my hands cramped on the wheel. That night, at a motel outside state lines, I opened my laptop to review the video again. The file was gone, replaced by a new one. Real_7. It was footage of me walking into the house, frame for frame, second by second. But in the final few minutes, I didn't run. I turned to face the mirror. I stepped through. I watched myself vanish into the glass. I haven't slept since. Because when I blink, I see that version of me walking down unfamiliar halls, talking to people I've never met, opening mirrors from the other side. And last night, I heard my own voice whispering from the closet. We're learning how to stay. The stories aren't separate. They're chapters. Each one a page in a living script, one that rewrites itself the more I look. The house watches. The mirrors remember. Every visit, every image, every face pulled in. It's not just about seeing anymore. It's about being seen. And when it knows you well enough, it steps into you. I don't think it's behind the mirrors anymore. I think it's in them. I think we're the reflection now. And something else is on the outside. Part 3. Do not speak its name. I got the voicemail 2 nights after the house. No caller ID. Just a blank number and a timestamp of 3:12 a.m. I let it play. Static at first. Then breathing. Slow. Wet. Labored. Then under it my voice. But not me now, me as a child. I recognized the tone, the stutter. The same voice from a home video I haven't seen in 20 years. It whispered one thing. It's learning how to speak. Then the call cut out. I checked my phone's camera roll afterward. There were photos I didn't take, blurry images of mirrors. Not mine. Not anywhere I recognized. Some were cracked. Some fogged. Some dripping. All had something in them. A blur, always in the center, always moving closer from one image to the next. In the last one, the shape was only inches from the glass. Its hand, long, pale, wet, pressed flat to the inside. And its face. Its face was mine. But stretched. Like someone had pulled my skin over a different skull. I started digging deeper. Cross-referencing cases that matched the pattern. Disappearances without trauma. Unsolved deaths in locked rooms. People found face down in front of mirrors, their fingers broken, bent backwards, nails shredded like they'd been clawing the reflection itself. Some of the victims had spoken strange phrases before they vanished. Only one word kept appearing in every case file. Scribbled in margins, whispered in reports. Spoken by those who had seen something they couldn't explain before going silent forever. The name. Valric. I shouldn't write it. I know that now. But I have to document it. You deserve to know the rules. The patterns. Because if you've made it this far, you're already part of the story. And stories want to finish themselves. I found one survivor. A nurse from Idaho. She didn't want to talk on the phone. Said they listen when you speak it aloud. So I drove. 13 hours straight. When she opened her apartment door, I barely recognized her from the photo. She hadn't been outside in years. No mirrors. No glass. The windows covered in foil. The TV unplugged and facing the wall. She wouldn't let me record. Wouldn't even let me bring my phone inside. We sat at her kitchen table. One light bulb dangling above. The shadows were long and tense, like they were waiting to move. She told me this. It starts with the invitation. A glance too long into something reflective. A thought too sharp. A whisper that catches behind your eyes. You don't notice it at first, but it does. It remembers faces. It learns your shape. Your voice. It doesn't come through unless it's been seen. That's the rule. But once it's seen, once it's named, it begins the trade. It doesn't steal your body. It leaves yours behind. But hollow. It fills the space behind your smile. The pause between your words. You go on living. Walking. Eating. Laughing. But it's doing it for you. And eventually you forget there was ever a difference. I asked what stopped it. She shook her head. Then said something I can't forget. You can't kill a story. You just stop reading it. But this one knows how to turn the page. I left her place just after midnight. On my windshield, a smear. Not blood. Not paint. Handprint. But not shaped like any human hand. 5 fingers. One bent backwards. Thin. Elongated. Claws like cracked mirrors. I kept driving. Didn't stop till sunrise. When I got home, the power was out. The lights didn't work. But my laptop was open. Powered on. The screen showed a live feed. From my bedroom. I wasn't in it. But the reflection in the black TV screen was. A tall, crooked shape, barely visible in the corner. It turned to face the lens. Smiled. Then leaned in and whispered something I couldn't hear. I closed the laptop. But the whisper didn't stop. It was in the room now. Breathing. Repeating the name. The one I'd promised not to speak again. It doesn't need to come through mirrors anymore. It's in sound. In images. In memory. It uses stories like hooks. You're reading this now. You're remembering the shape. And now, so is it. The next time you glance into a screen, or a window, or a dark puddle late at night, look carefully. If the reflection blinks before you do, you're not alone anymore. And if it speaks your name, don't answer. Whatever's inside it now, it doesn't forget. Part 4. The one who spoke first. There's a file I wasn't supposed to find. Tucked deep in an abandoned university archive, locked in an unindexed folder with no metadata. Not a .doc, not a PDF. It was labeled speech_0.wave. I played it once. That was enough. It didn't start like a normal recording. No intro. No context. Just a man's voice. Tired. Dry. Almost breaking. He spoke slowly, like he hadn't used his tongue in years. If you found this, it's too late. Not for me. For you. I'm the one who spoke first. I named it. I saw it. I gave it shape. That's all it needed. I didn't breathe for almost a minute. He sounded like he was in the room with me, too close. The kind of proximity that made your skin itch before your mind catches up. Then there was a sound behind his words. Wet footsteps. Clicking joints. Breathing that didn't match the speaker. I was working on early sound resonance research. Frequencies. Harmonics. Theories that a tone could affect cognition. maybe even open the brain to new levels of perception. And then one night I heard it. Not with ears. I heard it behind me. No one else did. The man sobbed quietly. Not out of fear. Out of regret. I studied it. I recorded it. Tried to map its structure. It wasn't a sound. Not really. It was a signal. Like the story of a sound, something older than voice, that didn't need language to understand it. And the moment I tried to describe it, it knew I existed. He paused for nearly 30 seconds on the recording, and then said, "Its real name isn't a word. It's a shape and sound. A noise your mouth doesn't want to make. But I tried. I said it out loud. That was the beginning." The file ended with a sharp intake of breath. Not his. Something else's. And then silence. I traced the file's history back through several university servers. What I found should have been impossible. The same file, or fragments of it, had appeared dozens of times across unrelated systems. Some as early as 1982. In every case, the same outcome. An unexplained death or disappearance. Each entry accompanied by the same final note. Subject displayed increasing fixation with mirrors, shadows, and distorted audio before incident. Final days marked by sleep deprivation and obsessive repetition of an unknown word or tone. And then, audio evidence expunged. I reached out to one of the names in the earliest chain. A professor. Retired. Living in isolation in northern Maine. He agreed to a call. One time. Audio only. He wouldn't say his name. His voice shook when I asked about the file. "I've been trying to forget for 40 years, he said. I built soundproof rooms. Tore out every mirror. Haven't looked into my own reflection since '89. I asked if it was real, if the name had power. He said, "It's not the name that holds power. It's the act of saying it. Language is a door. The mouth is the handle. And when you speak it, really speak it, you open something. You let it hear you." Then the line clicked dead. No static. No goodbye. Just gone. That night, I played the file again. I don't know why. Maybe I thought I could reverse engineer it. Understand it. But something was different this time. There was a whisper under the man's voice, so faint it had to be intentional. A second speaker. Unclear. Wet. Crawling across the audio like mold in an old photograph. I slowed it down. Ran it through filters. The whisper said, "You're speaking it now. You said it in your dreams. You said it when you screamed as a child. We heard you then." That's when the audio cut itself off. The file corrupted on its own. But the whisper didn't stop. It stayed in the room. It said things I hadn't told anyone. About the cousin in the mirror. About the photographs I'd thrown away. About the things I almost remembered, but never quite could. Then it said, "The one who spoke first opened the way. But it's the last one who finishes it. That's you?" I threw the laptop across the room. The screen cracked. But the whisper kept going. Not from the speakers. From inside the walls. From the water in the pipes. From my own mouth, as I realized I was mouthing the words in my sleep. I haven't spoken since. I won't. because the sound wants to finish itself. And it needs a voice. It needs mine. If you've heard it now, if you've dreamed it, if you've seen something move in the static, in the glass, in the space behind your reflection, you're next. And if you say it, even once, even in a whisper, you finish what he started. The story ends with you. Part 5. The face behind the glass. I haven't spoken in 8 days. Not one word. Not even in my head. I've stopped thinking in language. Every syllable feels like an open wound now, like my tongue has become a key, and my breath a doorway. But still, it waits. In the mirror. It's not hiding anymore. It doesn't need to. I covered every reflective surface in the apartment with thick black cloth. But every morning, at least one covering is gone. Not torn. Folded. Set neatly on the floor, as if returned with care. A courtesy. Each time, the mirror underneath is a little more warped. The glass seems to breathe. Sometimes there's fog on it, from the inside. I avoid it. But I feel its attention. Like something with 1,000 slow blinking eyes is watching, waiting to match the rhythm of my thoughts. 2 nights ago, I woke up standing in the bathroom. The lights were off. But the mirror was uncovered. I was mouthing a word I couldn't hear. And in the reflection, I wasn't alone. There was something beside me. Not standing. Floating. Half-formed. Dripping. Its face just a suggestion, as if carved from fog. A mouth that didn't move. Just hung open, patient and stretching. Behind it, shapes, hundreds of them, stood shoulder to shoulder in the dark glass. Watching. They weren't reflections. They were waiting their turn. I stepped back. Slammed the door. Shut off the lights. But now the darkness is worse. Because I still see it in my dreams. Every night, I walk the hall of mirrors again. Not the house from before, something bigger now. More ancient. A cathedral built from black glass, each wall shifting, shimmering with endless faces screaming inside. Not out loud. Through their eyes. Mouths sealed. But screaming, just the same. Last night, I saw my cousin again. She was 13 now, even though she should be a grown woman. She was sitting at the base of a broken mirror. Her hands were gone, replaced with silver slivers of glass fused to her wrists. She didn't speak, just looked at me. Then her jaw cracked open like broken wood, and she screamed with no sound. The mirror behind her rippled, and something stepped out. I woke up with blood in my ears. This morning, I got a new file. Not an email. No sender. It appeared on my desktop. Just a video. The thumbnail was black. I pressed play. The screen showed me, sitting at my desk. Typing. Recording this. But then the footage skipped forward. A few seconds, then more. I watched myself pause. Tilt my head. Then smile. Too wide. Too slow. Like a mask trying to settle into muscle. My hands went still. My eyes blinked, then rolled back. I stood up. Walked toward the mirror. The last frame is my reflection. But the face isn't mine anymore. It's something wearing it. Stretched. Smiling. Still. I shut the laptop. Disconnected the internet. crushed the hard drive with a hammer. But I still hear the whisper. Not through speakers. Through the glass. The bathroom mirror has been uncovered again. I didn't do it. It's vibrating. The cloth folded on the counter beside it. Damp. There's a word smeared across the surface, in something red and too warm. Finish. I'm not writing this for help. It's too late for that. I'm writing it for whoever comes next. Because this isn't a curse. Not in the old way. It's a system. A relay. A contagion that spreads through sight, through sound, through awareness. It infects attention. Feeds on fear. Lives through mirrors because we expect something to live there. And now we've given it everything it needs. A face. A voice. A name. Stories like this don't end. They change shapes. Now it knows how to wear you. How to walk with your spine. How to move with your mouth. The moment you see it, the moment you even understand it, it's already waiting behind your eyes. And now you've finished the last part. You've looked too long. You've read its name. And in the next mirror you pass, if your reflection stops before you do, if it smiles just a second too late, if it leans in just a little closer than it should, do not speak. Do not run. And whatever you do, don't blink. Because now, it knows your face. And it's ready to step through. Yendi.